waiting for hands to see that if everyone is hearing me. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? I'm waiting for hands to just raise up a hand in the group so that I can see that everyone is hearing me. For some students who are at campus, sometimes it might be a problem to connect to Discord voice channel. So yeah, just make sure that you are able to connect. All right. Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be revising 2019 past paper. So we are going to go through all the questions in detail. So before we start, let's just quickly check on if I'm going to share my screen now. Let me share my screen now. Okay, so you guys are sure that you're going to write your semester test one on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, you guys are writing your semester test. All right, let me share my screen now. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Which one am I going to share now? All right, I'm going to share my screen now. Just give me a moment. I'm sharing my screen. I want you guys to let me know if you can see my screen. Let me share this one. Let me close this one for them. All right, and I'll share this one. Okay, live. Can everyone see my screen? It's coming. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Just write something in the text box so that you can see it together. Can you all see my screen? Perfect. Oh, perfect. Okay. No, just wait a moment. See it now. All right. Here's my screen. Just quickly go to the announcements. Let's just quickly go to announcement and see our subject notices. Okay. So you guys are writing your semester test on the 15th? Oh no. Uh can you all see my screen? What's wrong with other students? You should be seeing my screen. Not yet. Not yet. I don't see the screen. All right. Let me stop streaming and I'm going to share again so that I make sure that everyone see my screen. You should be able to see it. You should be able to see it now. Can you all see my screen now? I'm just waiting for response so that you can see. Oh yes. Oh, so okay, it's fine. I'm going to zoom it from my side so that you can see it. Zooming it now. All right. I think this font, everyone can see this font. All right. So on the 15th is going to be 1 hour. So the scope is going to be from lecture 1 to lecture 7, including the practical related content. So make sure that you have got your ID, you've got everything needed. I don't have to go through everything because I'm going to waste time. Don't have enough time since I'm going to go through the whole paper. All right. Okay. So let's start out 2017 paper. Going to stop my screen. I'm going to share now the past paper. This is the past paper. If you don't have the past paper, you can just download it on. I'm sure it's there on. If you can just download it so that you can also see it from the site. Can you also see my screen? Let me make it a little bit bigger so that you can also see it. That's fine. All right. I think now it's a little bit bigger. Can everyone see clearly? All right. I assume everyone can see. All right. Let's start with the first question. And then if you see that you are running out of time, we are going to go to mix questions so that we make sure that we finish the most difficult questions, because the purpose of this revision is to help you and to make you understand, so that you will be ready for your semester test. All right, it's fine. So how are we going to do it today? I'm going to, for example, go on question one. Then, what I want you to do, for example, I ask question one. Then you come to my inbox. Then you're going to send the answers in the inbox. Then I just want to see where are we. Then after that, we go through the questions together. So the first question one is saying, analyze the following code and answer the questions that follow. Write down only the question number and answer. Okay. So question one, it says, which programming languages does the code belong to? So I've got low level language, I've got high level. So which one does this one belongs to? So just write down the answer, just say A or B and send to my inbox. If I just get 2 or 3 replies, then I'll go to the answer. I just want to see if we are together. All right. Okay, I'm getting replies here. I'm getting replies. 2 more. Once I get 10 replies, then I go to the answer. 1 more. I'm waiting for 1 reply. Then you can go to the answer. All right, you get 10 replies. Oh, so this one, it belongs to high level language. So is our high level languages. This is because, okay, so it's high level language. So this is high level language. Hey, when you're talking about low level languages, we are talking about machine code, which can be understood by machine. For example, we are talking about assembly, which is an example of low level language. All right, and then which subcategory does this code belongs to? Which subcategory does this code belongs to? Once I get 2 answers, then I will go to the next. Once I get 4 answers, which subcategory does this belongs to? Okay, I'm waiting for 1 more answer. All right. Okay. Yeah, I can see everyone is in good order. So it belongs to compiled, which is correct. The reason why we say it belongs to compiled, remember, if you check in your notes, let me just open your notes here. If you check in your notes, this was lecture 1. Let me open your lecture 1. All right. If you check in your notes, you can see my screen, right? If you check in your notes, let me go to combined. Also, this is combined, as you can see in your notes. So, it is combined, and then the next question, is subcategory. Okay. Then the next one is saying provide one property of this programming language category. So if you come here, this is where we can see the properties. So these are the properties of our category, which is compiled. So we can see that, okay, since it's compiled, and then the properties is possible to write portable code backend of compiler and can often target multiple platforms. And then we know that textual source code is compiled into object code and then linked to executables, because it's a compiled. So you guys, you don't have to claim or to know only this. You also have to know, if you come here, you also have to know other ones. For example, you have to know an example of interpreted. You can just give me an example of interpreted. So you have to know an example of everything here. For example, which one is interpreted, because this one is going to be important to you when it comes to your your exam, because you don't know which one that they are going to ask you during the exam. So make sure that you understand an example of compiled. You also understand an example of assembly language, which is straightforward. So interpreted, you can take an example of which one can you use for interpreted. I'm waiting. Just try type something in my inbox so that I can see if you are together. All right. So for the interpreted, you can use an Okay, yeah, perfect. I can see people there understanding it as Java. And then we also have byte interpreted. Everything is there. So guys, make sure that if you are come on this one, you understand the compiled. um, you understand you've got compiled, you've got you've got Java, which is byte code interpreted, and you've got interpreted. So an example of interpreted we use, for example, C. C code is an example of interpreted, and then Java is not an example of interpreted. Java is an example of bytecode interpreted. So make sure you understand this. All right, fine. Let's go to the next question. So the next question, it asks, so on the, for example, on the assembly language, you guys have to make sure that you understand it, because when it comes to third year, you'll be using low level languages. Remember, from first year you were doing C++. Now we are doing Java, which is an example of bytecode interpreted. And then when it comes to third year, second semester, you'll be doing assembly, which is a low level language. So make sure that you understand these ones, and then you're going to do assembly as you as times goes. So let's go to the next question. Discuss the difference between C++ and Java with regards to garbage collection. Oh, so this one with regards to garbage collection. Remember our last week as tutorial, Saturday's tutorial, we discussed about difference between C++ and Java, and we mainly focus in garbage collection when it comes to Java. So let me just quickly go to the notes. Okay. So what is the difference between garbage collection in Java and garbage collection in C? The difference is, if you go to Java, Java we don't free space, which means there's no delete in Java. And then Java have got automatic garbage collection, no delete available. And in C, programmer must remember to free memory. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to give you an example so that you understand the garbage collection in C and the garbage collection in Java. So I'm going to share a different screen. Let me quickly share a different screen. Uh, Let me share a different screen so that you get to understand. All right, let me share the screen. All right, from the screen I'm sharing, is zoom it a little bit so that we can all see. All right, let me zoom it. All right, let me try to zoom it a little bit. Can you also see now? So this is an example of garbage collection in C versus garbage collection in Java. So we can see that in C, after we create our array, we create our new array. And then, okay, what is garbage collection? When you're talking about garbage collection, for example, we create an array, we allocate our array, we allocate memory to the array, and then after that, we will have to free space the array so that you can't hear me or see the screen. It's because I'm sure you're using the Wi-Fi at campus. Sometimes it's a problem. Okay. So, I think I answered you. So in C++, we can see after we allocate a memory, a heap memory, we have to deallocate the memory to delete so as to free space the memory. And then in Java, from this picture, you can see that in Java, after we allocate the memory, please note this is an infinite loop. It's not gonna end. we don't have to free the memory. The nice part of Java is that it automatically do it automatically there's no delete. You don't have to delete. It automatically free the memory on itself. So that's one of the advantages of using Java. All right. Let's go to the second. All right. Let's go to the second question. Going to go back to the screen I was on. Let's just wait a little bit. All right. While you're waiting for the screen to show up, I'm going to read the second question because you guys make sure that you're on the question. So, what is the difference between garbage collection and done? We're going to question two. We are going to rush a little bit on the first questions because this is just straightforward in the notes, and we are going to take more of our time when it goes to the questions when you go down, like for example, question 8, question 6, where we have to do examples which are practicals, which will need you to understand much your theory. So that's where we're going to spend much of our time. On this one, we are not gonna spend much of our time. All right. Let me try stop sharing again the screen. I don't know why it's taking time to get the screen from the side. Okay. Can you also see my screen from that side? Can you also see my screen? No, no. All right, it's fine. It's coming. It's blank. Oh, all right. Don't worry. It's coming. All right. Let me stop and try to share again. Just wait a little bit. It's coming. I don't know why it's taking time. Okay. While you're waiting for the screen to show up, let's go to question two. You can open question two from your side, and then because I was just sharing the screen for question paper, so you can open it from your side because we can't continue waiting for it to show the screen. All right. It's fine. So question two is saying list the three rules of naming identifiers. How do you name identifiers? From class, we learned that if you are to name identifiers, um, one thing we have to know is that we can't use the keywords for naming identifiers. We can't use, for example, words like true, false, or now for naming identifiers. An identifier can be of any length, so which means you are not restricted to length. You can put as much length as you feel like it's going to explain your identifier. Identifier cannot be a reserved word. Just give us an example of reserved word. I'm going to give you one. This is an example of reserved word. We've got a word like super is a reserved word. So you can just type reserved words in the group so that we can see if everyone knows an example of reserved words. Yes, you cannot start with a number. That's correct. Uh, this yes. And then it can also not start with a dollar sign, so which means you can't have an identifier. Final, yes, that's correct. Final, that's an example. Catch is an example as well. So yeah, we have given how we have to name our identifier. So in short, let me just go through everything what you said. So it's only 3 marks. but we have got a lot of things. So the first one is saying an identifier is a sequence of characters consisting of letters, digits, underscore, and cannot start with dollar sign. And an identifier cannot start with a digit. An identifier cannot be a reserved word. An identifier cannot be true, false, or null. An identifier can be of any length. So it's out of, I gave you 6 things, and then yes, can be of any length. I gave you 6. You have to only choose 3 out of 6. So it means it's straight things. And then B, let's go to B. B, it was saying, how can an input stream and output stream be referenced in Java application? So basically what they're asking you about this question is they're asking you how to reference um, input and output stream. So remember when we're doing C++, we're doing something of this type. I'm going to send in the group. We're doing something of this type. This was C++. And now in Java, we are now doing something which is a little bit different. In Java, we are now using systems in. So we're now using system.in for the input. And then for the output, what do we use? What do we use for the output? What do we use? Yes, system.out. That's perfect. So this is how we reference input and output in Java. And then the next question, let me see if I managed to share my screen now. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, it's fine. I tried to stop the screen and try to see if I can share it again, but once I share it, I'm not gonna change the screens. Okay, it's coming. I'm trying to see if I can share my screen. Unfortunately, you can't share the screen. It's fine. We are going to. I'll be sending the text box. It's not a problem if I can't share the screen. All right. It's fine. The next question is saying how can input be done? Classify the merge sort algorithm in terms of stability, memory usage, memory employed, approach used. Remember, during last week's tutorial, we went through all the sorting algorithm, but I gave you homework. So last week, for those who didn't attend, we focused on selection sort, bubble sort, and insertion sort. So now they're asking us to classify merge sort. So basically what you have to do, if you check your class notes in algorithm, they gave you, if you check in the algorithm, they gave you all the algorithms. So basically what they want you to do, if you check in your class notes, which was lecture 2, if I'm not mistaken, lecture 2 and the algorithm, they gave you the worst case and then the best sort. So on the first one, complexity, we expect you to give us the best and the worst case. So if I check in the best and the worst case from your notes, you can see that the worst case, um, so this is basically what they want from you guys. So you just have to write something like this. This is the worst case. This is what they want you to write. So make sure that you understand, or you claim, I don't know how are you going to get it. Make sure that you understand all this, because we don't know which one they're going to ask you, because they can sometimes ask you about selection sort or bubble sort or insertion sort. And then when it comes to, so this is memory usage, and then you can just give me the memory usage for the main. So just complete everything: memory usage, approach, and stability. This is page 19 of your slide. Then stability is stable, and then method employed is merge, and then approach is recursive, then memory usage is ON. So just make sure that you understand this one because it might be a quick search in your exam. So yeah, that's it. Let's go to the next one. This one's I'm just quickly running because this is just from the notes. We're going to take time when you do something which is practical. All right. The next one. Uh, this screen I can't still share it. I think I first have to exit, then I'll come back. So let me just quickly exit and then I'm coming back. Hello, I'm back. I'm trying to see if I can share the screen now. Hello, yeah, I'm back. I think now I can share my screen. Let me try to share my screen once more again. All right, let me see if I can share the screen. Unfortunately, I still can't share the screen. Unfortunately, I don't know what might be the problem. It's fine. We're going to the next question. So the next question is question 3. We are now on question 3. Describe the following principles of object-oriented design. They ask you about divide and conquer, generality, and abstraction. We have 6, if not 7, of this one. So make sure that you understand all of them because you don't know which one are they going to ask you in your semester test because we've got divide and conquer, we've got extrapolation, we've got interface, we've got information hiding, we've got generality, um, we've got extensibility, we've got abstraction. So if you check in the notes, these are the principles. So divide and conquer is compose overall problem into a set of interfacing objects, and then extrapolation is assign attributes and actions to an object. Object is a self-contained module with a clear responsibility. You also have to be more familiar with extensibility. Extensibility design with future expansion in mind. This one is very important when it comes to informatics 3 because you see for those who are doing computer science, you are doing informatics, you see when it comes to informatics 3, you are going to be in groups whereby everyone has a task to do. So if you are able to do extensibility, you'll be able to continue making your project until you're done. So you're going to continue extending your project. So make sure that you understand everything. So I gave you all the 7 as they are. And then someone is asking, what is the difference between extrapolation and information hiding? So you can see that when you're talking about information hiding, is to design and implement specific details are hidden. So, for example, information hiding. Let me take an example, in a kind of an example. I'm just going to take a complicated example. So, when you're talking about information hiding, let's take an example of UJ, right? Let's take an example of if you as students you've got platform or you've got access on Eevee to submit your practical, and me as your assistant, I've got access to Eve to open your practical and mark your practical and give you marks. And if you submit a query about your marks, I've got access to change your marks to say, okay, this student gave a query, he said my mark is not good, I can change the mark. I've got access to post the announcement. You see, this is information hiding. This is the information, some features which you can't do, which I can do. Specific details are hidden, which I can do. You understand? So that is information hiding. And then extrapolation is assign attributes and action to an object. Object is self-contained mod with a clear responsibility. So extrapolation is actually straightforward. Remember, when talking about attributes, we can make, for example, private, protected, and public. When you're talking about private, methods, they can be only accessed within the class, whereby public, they can be accessed outside, whereby protected, they can be accessed by the children in the base class. So there is an example. That is different. I'm sure you answered. All right. Let's go to the next question. The next question says, in the context of Java and object-oriented program, provide a definition of the following class and object. This one I'm not going to do it because we can have it in the notes. Okay, but let me just explain it. So a class is a template or a blueprint of an object, whereas an object is an instance of a class. So yeah, that's it. And then the next question is says, with regards to Java, provide a definition of this keyword and where how it is used. So this we already talked that this is we can't use it when you're talking about an example of naming, which question you are working on, of naming identifiers, then you say we can't use keywords like this. Okay, so with regards to Java, provide a definition of this keyword. So this keyword, the definition of this keyword, it refers to a current instance, access the current instance attribute or operations, the access the current instance constructor in constructors in a constructor. So I'm going to give you an example of where can we use this and how to use this. Let me just quickly write something how to use this. Okay, so this is an example of this. So from the example I just sent now, let me try to make it a picture so that you can hear it over and over again. Okay. All right, so that's an example of this. You can see from the example I gave you, we have got x, which we use, which you first declare, and then we've got x as a parameter, and then we are using that x. So this, it points to which x, which is an example of how to use this. I gave you an example and I gave you the definition of okay. And then question 4. So what strings regular expressions. For people who attended last week's tutorial, we went deeper on strings and regex expressions. So it's saying discuss the concept of intent string found in Java and provide a short source code example. All right. So from the definition of intent string, if you check in your notes, if you check in your notes, you can see that when you're talking about intent string, we are referring. Okay, so when you're talking about we are talking about Java reuses identical string memory locations to optimize on access time and space. Appropriate source code using the same string or using string constructor. So I'm going to give you an example on where can we use intent string. Let me give you an example, but there's a clear example also in your if you check in your notes. Okay, so someone is so the definition means the good definition. Okay, it's fine. I think we explained it already. So this is an example of intent. Intent. Where can we use intent? We can see from the example I gave you. You can see that we have got a string 1, which is hello, and we've got a string 2, which is also hello, and then we try to get string 3, and then if you try to output string 1, when you say string 1 equals to string 2, you can see that it's going to be false. Why? This is because the reference variables are pointing to different instances. And if we check from the example I gave you, but if we try to say string 2 equals to string 3, you can see that is going to yield true. It's because the reference variables are pointing to the same. So this is an example of string in 10. And this one it was covered in lecture 4. So if you go to lecture 4, you can clearly see how it works. Hello. Okay, it's fine. I was stopping the video because it's been taking time to share the screen. All right, it's fine. And then on the next question is saying discuss the concept of character classes with regards to regular expressions. If you check again in lecture 4, we on page, let me just quickly go to your lecture 4. So if you go to lecture 4, um, lecture 4 on page, let me scroll down where you're talking about regular expression. Okay, on page 14, we've got our character classes. So it's very important to understand these character classes because we are going to continue using them. Because if you check your question 8, which was your last question, you are supposed to be able to, for example, you're able to use string tokenizer, which is something covered earlier. And when you're talking about character classes, you have to know them because we are going to use them as we throughout the whole semester. We are going to be using them. So the question says provide a concept of character classes with regards to regular expressions. So we can say character classes are used to define a regular expression pattern. Each character class usually refers to a single character. Each character class has a unique meaning. So, for example, if you use backslash d, we know that we are referring to the single digit. And for example, if we use backslash small letter s, we are referring to a white space character. So we can see that each character class have got a meaning. And then if we use backslash capital letter W, we are referring to a non-single word character. So it's very important to know this. Alright, I'm trying to see what I can do to question C since I can't share my screen. Let me try one more time again to see if I can share my screen. Definitely I can't. Alright, okay, unfortunately I can't share my screen. Alright, it's fine. Let's just leave it. Okay. So on question 4C, I want everyone to complete 4C and then send in my inbox. So it's saying provide a single regular expression that matches all the genes, style, colors, and sizes in the following format. So we can see that we've got a bootleg, which is in capital letter. We've got and then I've got the black, I've got the size, which is XL, S, or size, and then I've got size at the end. So just quickly, I'm going to give you 3 minutes by 11:40, then we'll continue to provide a regex expression, which is going to match everything here. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to complete. I'm also going to do it on my side. Then I will share you. Then when you're done, just share in my inbox. Okay, so you can do question 4C. I'm also doing it on my side. Okay, 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. Waiting for more. All right, I can see some students are getting it right from my inbox. I can see that some students are getting it right. Um, let's quickly finish. 1 minute remaining. A minute remaining. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Just giving you one more moment for people you're not done. 1 more minute remaining. I won't be able to reply everyone's inboxes, but I can see your answers. Right, it's fine. I'm going to share. Okay, it's fine. Let me send what you have. Is almost everyone got it correct. Becky Le, 131. You say A to Z. You didn't put plus because if you put it like that, it's going to get the first character. So I'm going to send them correct answer in the group. Then you can see where you went wrong and where you went correct. So this is the correct answer. I'm going to send in the text channel. So we can have something like this, or we can have something of this type. We can decide to remove the space and put the normal space. Just put the space bar after, like this. Or we can have something of this type. You can see putting space is going to get that space after I put plus, I'm putting a space. And then we can use weight. I can see some students they were using weight, which is 0 to 9. Instead of digit, I can use weight, which is 0 to 9. So which means I should get something of this type. I'm writing now. I can have something of this type. Please note that when you're marking your papers, as long as it compiles, there's no one correct answer for this one. So we can have this one. So these are the answers we can have. I have given you, answers I've given you 1, 2, 3 answers I've given you. Say I don't understand C. Don't worry. There's no need for you to understand much of C because I will be using Java. So if you don't understand C, then that's not a problem. You shouldn't have to worry about it. Okay, cool. So what if I put star? Where do you want to put the star? Can we use tab? Yeah, we can use tab because you don't know actually what space it is because when you're marking this one they can consider tab or they can consider single space because we don't know which character, or you can just use a normal space. You see on my last example I used a normal space which is backspace. So oh, it's interesting. Let me see what you're talking about, the multiplication, if you can use it. Um, Guys, please know that if you don't understand this regex expressions, yes, we can use it. Please know that if you don't know, if you can't understand this regex, you can use regextester.com. I'm going to send you the link. This is just a website for those who attend. Yes, you can use you can use them. You can use them. I'm going to send something I did with Star, but I still can't remember when they taught you about using multiplication thing in regex in your notes. I didn't say something like that, but it's actually interesting. As long as it works, it's fine. So I'm going to send this one. Okay, interesting. I'm just gonna say it regex because this was so interesting. So let me send this one to someone who asked me, can you use a star? All right, there's the answer. You asked me, can you use a star? I tested it using regex testing. So for those who don't know regex testing, I was thought I was going to share my screen, but I couldn't share it. I'm going to paste it here. So you can use this one. You can use this website. This website, it helps you. Oh, the reason why I used plus signs is because if I don't use the plus sign, it's going to only take one character. So I'm going to remove all the plus. Um, I'm going to remove. Obviously, I'll remove one so that I will answer your question. You ask me why did I use a star? If I didn't use a star, it's only going to get one character, which is maybe the last character on the string. So when you're using star, you are saying plus because you want to get all the characters of the first word. So let me reply you by saying, let me just say without plus. Let me use plus. Okay, cool. Um, Sending something in the group because we can't share our screen for some. This is because there are a lot of students, so the network is refusing. I don't know why. So without a star, why do we use a star? If you don't have a star to answer you, it's going to have something like this. It's going to only take one character. So by having a star, it means that you want to take all the characters in the word. So can we move to BB so that we can share your screen? Unfortunately, professor said we only have to do this one using what I'm using now, which is Discord. But the only reason is that it's giving me an error that if we share the screen, some of the students are going to be having lagging. Remember, when you started, some of students they were saying they can't see my screen. So if I share my screen, it means that some of the students they won't be able to get the quality of audio. So that's why it's refusing. That's the error it gave me. So yeah, that's the only problem. But I will try to talk to professor next time so that if possible we can work on Discord, because if we work on Discord, it'll be able for us to share the screen. So yeah, I'll talk to him for next time. I'm sorry for everything, guys. It's not my problem on this one. Okay. Are we all happy about the regex? Are we all happy so that I will go to the next question? I think I've answered a lot of questions here. Are there still questions? Let me check if there are still questions in them. Um, there are no more questions here. It seems like everyone is understanding the regex. Oh, that's perfect. All right. Let's go to the next question. The next question is saying exception handling. Provide a definition. What time are we finishing? We started 11. Started our first 11. We still have 42 minutes, or it's still fine. We can finish. Well, then they say exception handling and input. Okay, provide a definition of exception and discuss where it is used. All right. What is an exception? That's the question. Oh, when you're talking about an exception is an event that occurs during the execution of a program that disrupts the normal flow of instructions. It deals with unusual circumstances using program execution. So this is exception handling. You should know that when it comes to remember when you're talking about Java, we said in Java we don't do garbage collection, but you should also know that in Java we'll be mainly focused on the exception handling. We'll be working very well on the exception handling. So Java, it focuses too much on the exception handling, right? Okay. So I gave you the definition of exception handling and then discuss where it is used. You can tell me an example where we use an exception. We can use an exception, for example, on question 8. For example, if we open a file, we can use exception to see if the file is found or if the file is not found. That's where an example and discuss where it is used. I give you an example where we can use exception handling. But the 3 marks were there for the definition. Is an exception is an event that occurs during execution of a program. So that was 1 mark. And then what does it do? It disrupts the normal flow of instruction. That was another mark again. And then what is used, it deals with unusual circumstances during program execution. So where it is used, it deals with unusual circumstances during program execution. Then you give an example. For example, opening a file. You can even see it's exception handling and take off file. So if you check in your notes, you can see that when you're opening a file, if the file is not found, that's where you can use exception handling. That was a further example. And then question B, is there anyone with a question, or are we already happy so that I can continue? Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? All right. Okay, since there's no one with a question, then can assertion and citation be used to replace exceptions? Provide a reason for your answer. Can you just quickly write the answers in my inbox? Just want yes or no, and then the reason. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for that. So it's 11:53. You're going to get the answer. So can association be used to replace exception? Yes or no? Just give the answer in my inbox. Okay, someone said yes. And then what's the reason? Someone said no. What is the reason? Just give me the reason. No. Remember, if you just say, for example, yes, and don't give a reason, there is no mark. But if you, for example, you say no, if you say yes, let's say yes is the answer, and you can give a reason which is even wrong, you get 1 mark for saying yes, because you can see that you knew the direction. I didn't say the answer is yes, I didn't say the answer is no. I'm giving you how it's going to be marked. Okay, cool. And then now assertion is like a boolean exception is used for handling errors. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, exception are built on top of the exception. I would use, let me go back to the question I was reading. So you say, no, exception is like a boolean. Exception is used for handling errors. All right. Interesting. Now, at the end of the day, I built on top of exception. I would use exception for internal logic checks within the code in normal exceptions, which is beyond my control. These cases I've used practice to cover them. Okay. No, because assertion I only used it for ensure. Okay, it's fine. Okay, assertion I used it for ensuring code correctness. So is it yes or no? Or you build the answer on top of your previous answer. Okay, cool. All right. The answer is no. Why it is no? It is session can be used to assure code correctness and avoid logic errors. So, and then while list exception deal with unusual circumstances during program execution. So, let me give you this because this one is going to be important. I'm going to paste the code in the text channel. So the answer was no. And why was it no? It was because of control plus V. So this was no because assertion can be used to assure program correctness and avoid logic errors. And then exception, they deal with unusual circumstances during program execution. For example, if you are working on the file and then there's no file, and then we try and we catch file not found exception, which is unusual circumstances during program execution, right? So the answer was no because of these two reasons. The reason for the assertion and then explanation what is exception. So this is the answer. Um Let me give one more minute while this I'm waiting for. I can see a few students are texting here. So let me give them one more minute. I think they have something to say. All right. While is they're typing, we can go to question 6 and then we can get to question 6 where it says provide a definition of ancestor class in Java. What is an ancestor? If you are to talk about this question outside Java, what is an ancestor? If you are talking about in your family, when you're talking about ancestors, we are telling us about your grandfathers, which are your ancestors. So, from the normal definition, exception example, like device exception, assertion example, like divide by zero. Oh, okay. Oh, I was giving an example. Oh, that's perfect. That's correct. Okay. So we are talking about ancestors. We are talking about ancestors here. They're saying provide a definition of ancestor class in Java. Your grandparents, they are ancestors, right? So let's link now in your family hierarchy. How are we going to deal with ancestors in Java? I'm going to send something in send something for ancestors. All right. So I'm going to send this one in because we can't share the screen. If you were to share the screen, it was interesting. So from the picture I sent, we can see that with class A, class B. So in this example, this is Java inheritance, and then class A is the ancestor because all the classes that are being derived and they're coming from B is not an ancestor because if you check on B, there's another class on top of B which is an ancestor. So this is an ancestor. So when you're talking about ancestors, what are we talking about in Java? When you're talking about ancestors in Java, is the highest super or base parent class in Java hierarchy. Ne? And then, so this is an example of ancestor. So it is the highest super base or parent class. So we can see that it is the highest. So if we, this is the definition of ancestor, and from the picture I've sent to you, we can see that we can see pioneer. What is pioneer? We can see that A is the ancestor class. So this is the highest in the in Java in the class hierarchy. And then during last week Saturday class, there were some people were asking. We talked about a multiple inheritance. Let me just also cover this one because this question can be asked in different ways. They can be asked you about the multiple inheritance. Oh, unfortunately, this one I sent it can't open. Let me just quickly get something which opens here. Unfortunately, doesn't have. But I will send at the end of the class. I wanted to explain the multiple inheritance in Java because this one is going to might be a problem because it usually confuses students a lot because in C plus plus when in first years we used to do multiple inheritance, but now in Java we don't have multiple inheritance. Unfortunately, it couldn't send the format was not correct. I will send at the end of the class. All right, cool. Let's go to the next question. The next question, the next question is talking about with regards to Java, provide a definition of super keyword as well as how it is used. All right, this is our question six. So, what is super? Where do we use keyword super? Where do we use keyword super? All right. I'm going to give you a definition, then I'm going to make screenshots, then I send since we can't share. Okay, so a super a super keyword, it refers to the base instance of a current instance to each access the base class attributes or operations, and then the super keyword can also be used to access the base class constants in a constructor. Right. So how does it look like, or how does it works? So it works something like this. I'm going to give you um where I use keyword super in my example because you can't share the screen, so I will be sending pictures. So I'm going to give you this one. But next time we try to use Discord, you will try to use Blackboard because Blackboard allows us to do everything. Super. I'm going to call this one super. Right. Oh, I already have it. Okay. All right. It's coming now. Just give it time. All right. This is super. You see. So from the definition I gave you, where I say super, it refers to the base instance of a current instance to access the base class attributes or operations. It access the base class constructors in a constructor. So from the example I gave you, we can see that we've got the ancestor, or we have got the parent class. Let me use the ancestor because we've been talking about ancestor, so it's going to be interesting. We've got the ancestor, which is animal, and then we have dog, which is what is dog here? We've got dog, which is not which is child, which is a then animal is a parent or ancestor, and then of a dog, which is a derived class or which is a child, which extends from animal. Then you've got our method, which is eat back work. So on the first one, you're printing it, you're printing back, you're printing this one. If I'm to ask you, just quickly come to my inbox and tell me what is the output of this code. I want to see if everyone understand using the keyword super. Just quickly write in my inbox. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. So in 4 parts, everyone will be done. Just quickly write in my inbox. Then uh, just quickly write. We have to do question 8, which is very important to us. Eating. All right, I can see. Right, give me all the outputs. I can see some. They're only writing for the. We've got two printout statements here for eat and for bag. You've got two printout statements in the function eat, in the function bag. So Yeah, give me the output in their order. Which comes first, followed by which one? 1 more minute remaining. Okay, then back here. 1 more minute remaining. All right. No need to continue again in the inbox because someone already read the correct answer in the area. So the answer is eating and then barking. So it's getting the eating from the eat, which is the ancestor. I'm going to use the ancestor today. I'm not going to use the keyword parent or class. We we are talking about ancestor. So it's getting eating from the ancestor. So we can see that the eat function in dog is going to get the eat in the ancestor because you are using the keyword super. So the keyword super is going to override everything in the in the child class and guess the one from the super class from the main class, which is the animal. So the answer is eating and we've got barking in that order. So that is the correct answer. All right, it's fine. That's correct. Let's go to C. Discuss three differences between interface and abstract class. What is an interface? What is an abstract? You got it. Oh, that's perfect. All right. When you're talking about the interface, um, we are talking about let's talk in terms of three differences between interface and abstract classes. We can talk in terms of instance methods, we can talk in terms of instance variable, usage and relationship. So let's start with instance method. So instance method in abstract class, they are allowed. And then in the interface, only abstract method, right? Are we all together? So which means when you're using interface, we are only referring to the abstract method. So, but when you are talking about the abstract class, we can the instance we use instance methods we use in abstract, yeah, they're allowed, and then instance variables they are allowed in abstract class, whereas in the interface they are not allowed. Please what's the definition of superclass? Okay. All right. Someone wants the definition of superclass here. Okay. There's the definition of superclass. Someone was asking the definition of superclass. There's a definition of superclass. All right. And then we're talking about the difference. Let's get on. And then the usage. When you're talking about the abstract class, the criteria in terms of usage, it extends from one class, whereas in interface, it realizes multiple interfaces. So the relationship between an abstract in abstract class, the relationship is a, while it's on the interface is kind of. So let me give you an example about the relationship in interface. So if you check in your notes, lecture 6 on the interface relationship, they talk about a square. So I'm going to say interface. Okay? Interface. So interface, this is let me do something like this. So interface, this is the relationship. This is the relationship in interface. Interface, for example, it have got a kind of relationship. So an example, a square is kind of a rectangle, but a square contains less information than a rectangle. So it's kind of relationship. Whereas in the other one, which is abstract class, we use a relationship which is called is a. Okay. When I'm talking about the is a relationship, let me give you an example of what can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Let me give you an example of a bike. We've got pausa. We've got a bike. We've got an example of a bike. We've got a quad bike. We've got a scooter. A scooter is a bike, right? So this is an example of is a relationship. But you can say a scooter has a engine. So we can see that yes, a this is now something different. It's now an aggregation relationship, which is something which you are not asked. So I'm going to send this one to you since we can't share. So this is the relationship in what's this one? The first one, which this is the relationship in abstract class. So in um abstract. So this is the relationship in abstract class. So this is the relationship in abstract class. So abstract class, it uses a relationship which is called is a relationship. So this is just an answer as it is. If you just write is a relationship, this is the answer. So this is what they want from you. Is then a example of relationship, a relationship, which is a relationship. Whereas in the interface we use is kind of. A square is kind of a rectangle, but it's not. Is a relationship. You understand? So we're done with this one. We all hear about is a relationship and is a kind of relationship in the interface in abstract class. If we are all happy, um, unfortunately on question 7 it wants us to draw the UML diagram, but um, since we can't share the screen because there are a lot of students, and then Discord is stopping us from sharing screen when we have a lot of students. I'm going to deal with number 7 in this way. I'm going to number 7. It says, yet you make class diagram for the following problem. So this is our problem. The electrical supplier was undertaking a new load management project. They require. Can you share a pin? Oh, okay. Or someone wants me to share a picture from question 7. Okay, it's fine. What I'm going to do on question 7. We won't be assessed to say thank you. Oh, it doesn't assess. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. I didn't check. I don't know what they said in class. So can you jump from question 7? I'm just waiting for 5 answers, yes or no. Because someone says we should jump. We should not do question 7. Can you jump? Yes, yes. 3 more answers by default. Yes to 8. Yes. Oh, by default. We're going to question 8. Oh, question 8 manages to win. All right, fine. Question 8. This is now practical. Now they now asking you about practical. This question is going to come as it is. Well, by saying as it is, I'm just saying they are going to be see if you understand the regex, if you understand the string tokenizer, because when we're reading our paper from the beginning, we didn't get the question where they asked us something about the string tokenizer. And you should make sure that you understand this question, because all your practicals, trust me, for the rest of the semester after when you're done with this one, especially your second semester test, is going to test you if you understand the string tokenizer. It's going to test you if you understand the regex. So if you don't understand those two things, make sure you consult your tutors to help you with the work, because this work is very important. Very important. So on question 8 is saying provide a Java code. We have got 18 minutes remaining. So we'll try to finish the rest of 15 minutes in 8. So we're just going to rush a little bit so that we make sure that we understand question 8, which carries a lot of marks and which all most of the students don't get it right. Okay. So it's saying provide a Java code, source code for the following program. You can assume that all relevant packages have been imported. Ne? This one supplier is requested that assist has requested that assist them with transferring data from their load management project. In order to accomplish this task, you are required to create a verify block method that will take the following parameters: an array of strings that represents sub block. So, which means we should have an array, and what does that array going to carry? Is going to carry strings. It's going to be strings of what? It's going to be string of sub block. And then he's saying a string that contains a regular expression. Verify verify blocks method must test each sub block string in the array against a regular expression. If sub block matches, then a successful message must be displayed. Right. All right. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to can I see if I can code here? All right. It's fine. I'm going to do this question. I wanted to. Yeah. All right. Since we can't share the screen, so let's get started on this question. So, what we have to do, we have to create a class, which is the first thing, and then filling code is very easy. It's okay. We're going to do it. Okay. So they say create a class. So do you have the name of the class here? You don't have the name of the class. So I'm going to create a class, and then at the end of this one, I'm going to share part of my code after creating a class. So I'm going to create my class. I'm going to call my class because I'm not really allowed to give you the solution as it is. So I'm just gonna create a class, and I'll call it bootcamp. So I'm going to create my class. My class I'm going to call it bootcamp. And then what did they say we should do? They said we should create um a verify block function. So there's a function, there's a method. We don't use function in Java. So we have to create a method. And what is the name of the method? The name of the method we are going to have is called um the name of the method is called verify blocks. So what does the verify blocks method does is going to have a file, right? So it's going to, please note that when you're writing this one, we don't necessarily mark, for example, to see if you know the file input streams which you're supposed to use. You don't necessarily mark that one. Those ones they're not for marks. What we just mark here, we assume that you know that everything is already cleared here. So I'm going to try now. We can see when you're talking about the exception, what they do now, we can see from this method. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my scanner. Let me call my scanner. Let me call it my scanner, right? I'm going to create a scanner, and initially I'm going to declare my scanner is is now, because I'm going to initialize my scanner as now. And then after creating a scanner, what do they want us to do here? Oh, this question is a little bit challenging to explain it without sharing the screen, but I'll try my best. Okay. So they say verify block will take the following parameters: an array of strings that represents sub block. Okay? A string that contains a regular expression. So we should have a regular expressions. A verify blocks that method tests each block string in the array against regular expression. So we should have a regular expression, and then we test using a method which is called sub block string, And then if the block matches, a success message must be displayed. If the block does not match, then an error message must be displayed. So I'm going to, over 12 minutes remaining. I'm going to create my method sub block. Okay, cool. I created my method here, which is called sub block. So I'm going to assume that everything is in the array. I'm going to first open the everything. I'm going to assume that everything is in the file, and then I'm going to create my scanner to open the file. After that, okay, after opening the file, what do you have to do? We have to use a while loop. We try, obviously we use try catch blocks. I'm writing here. I'm going to send you at the end of the work. So after that, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to open a file. After opening a file, we read sentence by sentence. So we first check while we check if the array, if our file it has next, for example, sorry, we check while, for example, we check while scanner. So I'm using scanner to go through everything. So I will check while, right? So I can say while yes next, because yeah, I want to continue looping through everything. While it is next, we have to continue scanning throughout the whole file, and then string line. Now I have, let me declare something and say let's just say a line which is something. So I'm taking line. For example, I take the line and I'm going to, for example, to split, because they say use string tokenizer, because you have to see, because the whole point of this one is to see if you really understands the string tokenizers. Okay, then I use regex expression to check if it matches, or if it doesn't match. If it doesn't match, then I'm going to print out that code. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, I have write something for you. I'm going to send something which I have here, where I use string tokenizer to see if it matches or if it doesn't match, and then after that, you can see um something I have here. Let me just quickly delete unnecessary information. Then as soon as I'm done deleting, I'm going to send to you. Yeah, just give me a moment. I'm almost done, because yeah, it was too much. And then after that, this is after they try. So after that, we have to catch the exception. So provided that maybe we try to open the file and then the file was not there, which means we have to catch the file file not found exception. And finally, we have to check if the scanner is not now, then we'll have to close. So when you're marking, you see that you get the marks for the try catch block. So I'm going to give you something. So we're going to have, this was our method. So you can have a method like this. We have 8 minutes remaining. We're running out of time. Okay, sure. So um we can have our method like this. This will be our method, and then after having our method, what are we gonna do? Inside the method, we can have something, maybe something like this one. Let's split. We can have something like a scanner, and I'm just gonna write something what I have here. You have something like this. And we're going to have inside that method, please note that everything is inside the verify block. And then inside the verify block, we can have this part which is the most difficult part to the students. We can have the try block where okay, so we can have the try. Inside the try block, we can have the scanner where we scan through the block, and then we've got a while loop. So we can have something like while my scanner is next, then string my line, then we'll go through everything. Then we can have string tokenizers to separate by file. Yeah, we can have something like that. So then after that, for example, let's say we have a string tokenizers, we separate as string one and string two, and then we put string one in maybe st1 and string two. Then yeah, unfortunately, this question. Next time we'll try to see if we can be allowed to use a blackboard. So we have something like this, and then at the end we are going to have the try catch block. So this is basically where all the first. So if you have something like this, you're going to get the 1 mark for the 2 marks for creating verified double blocks. That was 2 marks, and then 2 marks or 1 mark for creating the scanner, and then 1 mark for while my scanner is next. You get 1 mark there. Then string line equals to new line. Then you get 2 marks, 1 mark for split. So on the string tokenizers, you're going to get two. You're going to get one for splitting line tokens and one for splitting the other one. And then after that, you're going to get 3 marks from cache exceptions. We know how to do the cache exceptions. I'm not going to do that one because I'm sure everyone knows how to do them. All right. Any questions on this one before we go to quickly to the last one? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I'm going to give you 1 minute for the questions, then we use 4 minutes to do the last part. Any questions? 30 seconds remaining for the questions. I thought maybe you asked to use Mecha. How do you determine data type of a method? Can we use ARM? What is ARM? What is ARM? What is ARM? Oh, please know that this is not a solution. I was just trying to create something where you understand how to string tokenizers breaks up. What are these tokens? Oh, this one was asking me. Okay, give and say we don't use them. Okay, please note this is not a solution. I'm just trying to explain to you guys how to maybe split this the string. This is what I'm just trying to do for you so that you understand. Let's just quickly go to the fill-in code, then you'll come back here because we have to finish up with 2 minutes 30 seconds to remain. Then read the following code below in the missing code. Write the letter next to each. So this is the one we have. Um, they said this ID goes to status, this amount equals to this one, and then they say
string app info str applications. What is the first thing missing? Then they say string app info is cs application. What is the first thing missing here? We can see from the example I gave you, we can see that the first thing missing on A, we can miss dot something like, maybe I can say application dot. Since it's a scanner, we can miss something like dot next line. So I think on um this is A, next line. So this is what is missing on A, and then B. um on B, they said string tokenizer equals to new string tokenizer. What is missing here? We can see that from B, what is missing is application info, because we declare application info app info, so is application info which is missing here. New tokenizer. What tokenizers are we splitting? We are splitting tokenizers of application info. So from my view, I can see that let's just say app info. These are string tokenizers of app info, which missing app info. Yeah, you correct it, guys. It's app info. It's app info. It's app info. B is app info, not application info. And then we are going to see what is matching on C. Then string status app tokens dot this one, then app tokens dot something. So what is missing on C? On C we can see dot next token. Remember, when you are using string tokenizers, we use next token to go through all the tokens. So we can see that next token is missing. And then D is saying CABCD app.d application.id. So from D, we can see what is missing. We have to declare this one into new. So from the view, we can quickly see that on D we say application new application ID. Remember, when you creating a new object, is or you are creating an app equals to new of type new. So this is what is missing on D is new. I'm gonna give them, please don't write here because I want to put them in the order. So it's new. And then on E, finally, if application is not equals to now, CS application, and then we can see that we have to close. At the end, we have to close the file. So we have to close the file. So which means what is missing here is close. Is close. Unfortunately, I thought I could go deeper with you for the first part, but it could go well because of time. So this is missing. So that's all what I have for you today. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't go deeper for you for question 8A. It's because of time. I was going to make it clear for you so that you understand and use them the patterns as someone was saying, but I was just trying to explain to you how things work. So this is what we have for today. Have a good day. That's all for today. Have a good weekend. All the best on your preparations. Bye bye.